Alright, so we're going to move on then. This is section 3.7, multiplying polynomials. If you haven't already, you should be open to the booklet that I gave you, looking at section 3.7. Alright, so here on the board, I have a rectangle made from a bunch of pieces of what should be stained glass. So this rectangle is a 2 by 8. So if it's 2 by 8, how many pieces would be in there? 2 by 8. 16, right. On your paper, you have a different shaped rectangle. What would be the dimensions of the rectangle on your page? 4 by 3. So if it's a 4 by 3 rectangle, how many pieces would be there? 12, right. So all I'm trying to say to you here is that it doesn't actually matter what dimensions your rectangle is, you should still be able to multiply it, okay? It doesn't matter if it's a 2 by 8 or a 3 by 4, you're going to multiply those side lengths together. So, we're going to get into some larger polynomials then. So here in example 1, we're taking a binomial and multiplying it by a trinomial. The process before was FOIL, but you guys, FOIL only works with a 2 by 2 because there's only 4 letters in FOIL, right? You go first, outer, inner, last. When it's a 2 by 3, we don't have a word for that, but just make sure the first part, so the 2h, multiplies by each piece in the back part. And then the second part, the 5, is going to multiply by each piece in the back part as well. So when you're multiplying, each piece needs to multiply by the pieces in the back polynomial. So let's actually go through this. So we'd start with a 2h times an h squared. So 2h times h squared is going to be h cubed, because we have 1h multiplied by 2 h's to get 3 h's. Then we'll take that 2h and multiply by that 3h. 2 times 3 is 6, h times h is h squared. So I'm still just multiplying. Now we're going to go the 2h times the negative 4. So 2h times negative 4 is negative 8h. Now that would be all the multiplying from the 2h. We're also going to multiply from that 5. So now the 5 is going to multiply by the h squared to get 5h squared. The 5 is also going to multiply by the 3h to get 15h. And the 5 is going to multiply by the negative 4 to get negative 20. So to finish this, we just have to put our like terms together. So I see 2h cubed, that's the only h cubed. So that's going to stay 2h cubed. But I see that I have a 6h squared and a 5h squared. So when I put them together, I get 11h squareds. I also have a negative 8h and a positive 15h. So when I put negative 8 and positive 15, I'm going to get 7h. And then I have that negative 20 at the end that doesn't combine with anything. So my final answer here is 2h cubed plus 11h squared plus 7h minus 20. Okay, so for part B, we're going to try the box method. So just make sure when you set up your box, it's a 3 by 3 box. And then the two polynomials that were given would go on the outsides of the box. From here, we're just going to find the area of each box on the inside. So first, we have negative 3f squared times 4f squared. So negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. And f squared times f squared would be f to the power of 4. Because remember that when you're multiplying exponents, or when you're multiplying, yes, you add the exponents. So next we have 3f times 4f squared. 3 times 4 is 12. F times f squared is f cubed. Then we have 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. And the f squared, again, is still thrown along. Let's go down to our next box. We have negative 3f squared and negative f. That's going to give us a positive 3 and then f cubed. It's positive because two negatives make a positive. Our next squared, I have 3f times negative f. That's going to be 3 times negative is negative 3. F times f is f squared. And the final box in that row is negative f times negative 2, which would be positive 2f. So the negative and the negative is going to be positive. Down to the final row, we have negative 3f squared times negative 6 is going to be positive 18f squared. 3f times negative 6 is going to be negative 18f squared. And then negative 2 times negative 6 is going to be positive 12. So remember we said that if you have a 3 by 3, you're actually going to end up with 9 pieces. So the 3 times the 3 made the 9 pieces. Now from here, there should be some like terms to combine. Take a minute, please, and see if you can combine the like terms properly. So there has been a mistake pointed out here. I have 3f times negative 6 should just be negative 18f, not squared. Okay, now let's try combining those like terms. So your final answer should look like this. Make sure it's written in descending order. So your f to the power 4 is first, then your f cubed, then your f squared, then your f, and then your constant. Here in example 2, we have 2r plus 5t squared. So remember that the squared, what that means is you have 2r plus 5t multiplied again by 2r and 5t. So when it's squared, it's being multiplied by itself. Now this one, is this a FOIL one?
Yes.
Yes, because it's 2 by 2, right? So I'd like you to go ahead and multiply this any way you want. You can use the box method, or you can use FOIL. But we're just multiplying these two pieces together. So if you're FOILing this, you should have gone 2r times 2r, which is 4r squared. 2r times 5t is 10rt. Another 5t times 2r, which is another 10rt. And then the 5 times the 5 would be a 25, with the t and the t would be a t squared. So just make sure when you're multiplying two variables together, you're bringing both of those variables along. Now finally, to finish this off, we should be going 10rt and 10rt, so that should have become 20rt in the middle. So we should have had a 4r squared at the front, a 25t squared at the back, and 20rt in the middle. All right, here in this one, we're going to be multiplying two different parts and then adding those parts together. So we're going to start by FOILing the first part. So when we FOIL 2c minus 3 and c plus 5, we're going to go 2c times c, which is 2c squared, then 2c times 5, which is 10c. Then we're going the inner parts, so negative 3 times c is negative 3c. And then the outer parts, so negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Okay, so that's the first part FOILed. Now, you can combine like terms to finish this off. So I see that I have a 10c and a minus 3c. So I can put those together to get 7c and then minus 15. So that's my first piece FOILed out. We can also FOIL the back piece. I am going to switch colors here just so that you can see the two pieces. I'm actually not going to consider that 3 right now. I'm just going to FOIL the c minus 3 and then negative 3c plus 1. Okay? So c times negative 3c is negative 3c squared. Then I have c times 1 is 1c. I have negative 3 times negative 3c is positive 9c, because they're both negative, so it makes a positive. And then we have a negative 3 times a positive 1, which is a negative 3. But again, this 3 from before would technically be in front multiplied by all of that. Okay? So let's keep going here. Let's figure this out a little further. Remember, we can combine like terms. So I have a 1c and a 9c. So I'm going to get negative 3c squared plus 10c minus 3. Now what can I do with this 3 in front? We can multiply it in, right? It's called distribute. So I can multiply that 3 into all of those pieces. So again, I'm just multiplying that front c in after I FOILed it together. So this is going to become 3 times negative 3 is negative 9c squared. 3 times 10 is 30, and 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. So we have 2c squared plus 7c minus 15 minus 9c squared plus 30c minus 9. Okay, let's put our c squareds together. So we have 2c squared and minus 9c squared to get minus 7c squareds. Then I have my c's. So I have 7c and 30c, which is 37c. And then minus 15 and minus 9 is minus 24. So that would be the final answer for all of that. So please take a minute for these questions. Also, there's a matching activity on Google Classroom. Thank you.